So welcome to day one of the Facebook Live puppy training sessions with me, Di Martin. And my aim is to give you some basic knowledge to help you become a more proactive trainer. So to get ahead of the puppy's actions rather than being behind them and stopping them doing things. So the first thing I'm going to explain is their primary method of learning, which is called classical conditioning, which is essentially learning by association. Now, I like to explain this in a basic way. So Pavlov's dogs, you may have heard of Pavlov. He was a Russian scientist back in about 1926, and he discovered classic conditioning. So think of his experiment as two laboratories full of dogs. In laboratory 1, he would ring a bell. 3 seconds later, he would automatically dispense food to the dogs. In laboratory 2, as he dispensed the food, he rang the bell. Okay, all the dogs were fed like that 3 times a day for a week. After a week, he could walk into laboratory 1, ring the bell, and all the dogs would start salivating. Walked into laboratory 2, rang the bell, nothing happened. Now, the reason nothing happened, when we had that 3-second delay, we'd given the bell meaning. So the dogs had formed an association. And based on that, we got this automatic salivation. Okay, in laboratory 2, where it was done simultaneously, no learning took place. So this is absolutely key when it comes to your puppies. Okay, essentially there's 3 main points. They're learning in patterns, there's emotions linked to those patterns, and then the all-important pauses. So they're learning all of the time based on everything that is happening. So if you pick up your puppy to put it in a crate, and you pick up your puppy to put it in the car, and you pick it up to put it in the bath, and you pick it up to take it off the sofa, what emotion does your puppy form around being picked up? If you approach them and take things from them, and you're constantly approaching to stop them doing things, what emotion has been formed based on your approach? The number 1 question I'm always asked is about play biting or mouthing. Now, puppies will explore everything with their mouths, and some breeds have been bred for this purpose. The routines you put in place will have a significant impact on the amount of biting. The actions that I've just spoken about regarding picking up and approaching them could cause defensive biting, which is having a significant impact then on your relationship with the puppy. If you keep taking things from the puppy might see you as a potential threat when it has something in its mouth. Again, this isn't good for your relationship. So we're going to look at a simple tool today which is going to help you manage your puppy more positively and hopefully be ahead of their actions. So just like Pavlov did. Now I've got little Mex here with me and we're going to start it with her. So we're going to choose a sound, okay, that all the family members can make, okay. I tend to choose a kissy sound, and this is only because it's the first noise that they hear when their ear canals open, is all the other puppies suckling. Okay, so I'm going to get some treats and we're going to give this a try. Let me move her snaffle mat. Get my treat bag. Okay, and you can join in and do this with me. So we move the cushion, baby. Okay, so my chosen sound is a kissy noise, so I'm going to go and give her a sweetie. And give her a sweetie. Make sure you're giving the sweetie with all 4 paws on the floor. And give her a sweetie. Now, while I'm doing this, let's think about the rules of classic conditioning. Okay, we are going to feed every single time you make this noise. Okay, think of things that are classic conditioned in your own life. Okay, the ice cream van always means the ice cream van. It's never a Ford Escort messing around. Okay, it's always the ice cream van. So it's always a sweetie. Okay, so when you're first conditioning this, you've got to be quite close to the dog. Okay, we've got to get that treat to them within 3 seconds. Now, remember the all-important pause as well. If the sweetie's already coming, and the dog can see it, and I go, okay, the noise will be insignificant. Remember, there's no effective learning that takes place if we do things simultaneously. So it's, and then we give the sweetie. and then we give the sweetie. Okay, now when you're conditioning also, think if I'd done this to you, if I was conditioning you, okay, and I've chosen a word, ace, okay, and I've said ace and I've given you a pound coin, and I've done this 20 times. If we've got an emotional scale where this is neutral, this is I'm happy, excited up to manic, and this is I'm uneasy, worried to terrified, where your emotion would be, if I said ace and gave you a pound coin, might be about there. If I gave you a £50 note, it'd be there. Okay, so we want to use £50 notes. Now, I'm using £50 notes, so I've got good cooked chicken here. Okay, I tend to use a lot of chicken, beef, pork chunks that I put in the slow cooker, so it's all nice and I can keep the juice for their dinner. Okay, so we're going to do it again and feed. So you're going to do this lots randomly throughout the day this week, okay? Now, £50 notes for the first couple of days. Okay, and then we can start reducing it. So this is the gambling effect. People play fruit machines because the jackpot's available. So by day 3, you might be able to give them a pound coin, and then a £20 note, and then a £50 note, and then a fiver, and then £10. Depends where you are with giving your puppy different treats and them being able to take different treats, okay? But always start with your £50 notes, and then it's the element of surprise. You know, you're eating a yogurt pot, you want to give it to the puppy, make the kissy noise first, make sure it's worth it. We all give them a little bit of that cheese sandwich, make the kissy noise first. You're always charging up your sound then, okay? They must get food every time, no matter what the puppy does, okay? Pavlov didn't want the dogs to do anything. He rang a bell and he gave them their dinner. That was it. They didn't need to sit, they didn't need to look at him, they didn't need to do anything. So every time you make that sound, you're going to give your puppy a treat. Now, how are you going to use this? A lot of people report to me the puppy's got an obsession with an area in the garden, plants that they're eating, stones that they're picking up. So you can see puppy's about to go over there, make the sound, and they're going to come shooting back to you for a treat once it's conditioned. Okay, and that's the key. Okay, now when they come back, if you just give them a treat and leave them to their own devices, they're just going to go off again, okay, back to where you wanted them to go. So another little thing we're going to introduce today is a little game that I like called food circuits. And this is like an early retrieve behaviour. So we're going to go out and get some food, and then we're going to come back for more food because the return is more important. Okay, so let's have a little game with this for food circuits. Should we do some training, baby? Yeah? Okay, so I get the food. I use a little precursor because this becomes a good attention grabber then. So I'm going to go, ready? Run! Throw the food. Kissy noise, come back to me. Okay, get that quick response back. I'm feeding him what I call a bowl hand. Okay. Okay, and I keep feeding loads of food for coming back, and I want that bowl hand to be really, really special as well. So we say the precursor word, ready? Always words, then pause. Run. Then we throw. Kissy noise to get them back. Keep feeding in that bowl hand. Do not let them steal it out of your other hand en route. Okay, the bowl's got to be really important. This is a good way of feeding them in the bowl as well for kids because they use their tongue. Ready? Run. Good girl, in that bowl hand. Now, up to you, but I do like to make this a little bit more fun, probably because I do competitive sports with my dogs. Okay, so I'm going to bring around this time, and we're going to go, ready, run. And then I like to just get a little bit more fun, and jump. Yeah, good baby. Ready, run. And jump. Yeah, there's a good girl. When we finish the training session, whoosh. Okay, and that means she can just go off and be a dog. Okay, I'm just going to pop her snuffle mat back down, give her something to do in between while we're talking. And I'm just going to wiggle the computer on there, sorry, so that I can see you all. Good. Okay. Right, so the kissy sound is something that I use for life with my dogs. I never not use it. It's an instant attention grabber. I want your attention and I want it on me now, okay? One thing I also will do with it to advance it later on, okay, is teach the dog to follow me before they get the treat, Okay, now the reason I might want to do this is because I want to increase distance. Maybe I'm out on a walk, okay, and there's a pram coming around the corner, and my puppy's never seen a pram before, so I don't want to do a head-on course with the pram. I want the puppy to be able to see it from a distance, maybe side-on, because it's their first ever viewing of a pram, and they don't know what a pram is. Okay, so what we're going to do eventually with a little kissy sound is we're going to make the sound, and as I get the dog's attention, I'm just going to walk away and then give them a treat. Okay, now I'm only going to do one pace at first, and then 2 paces, and then 3 paces, and then 4 paces. What I'm trying to build up is that 3-second delay that we need to start with. I'm trying to take that to 4 seconds, to 5 seconds, to 6 seconds, to 7 seconds, okay? But keeping the relationship between the sound and receiving the food. If the puppy looks away from me, then maybe I've gone a bit too quick. Okay, so what you're looking for is you can make that sound, the puppy follows you and pays attention with the expectation that they're going to get that treat. Okay, and that's really going to help me then, okay, increase distance away from things, but that potentially the puppy's either going to be excited by, yeah, so when the emotions are going to be here when they see it, or when the emotions are going to be here. Okay, so something that we use for life for grabbing attention. We can use it for interrupting behaviour. Okay, and ideally we're using it to prevent the undesirable behaviour. Okay, we're using it to increase distance. We're using it to, we could use it to assess where their emotions are at. So if my puppy's sniffing and I've conditioned an auto response and I make that kissy sound and she doesn't respond, that gives me information as a trainer that those sniffs are really important to her. So that may then affect my recall training plans and things like that. Okay, I'm also going to use it maybe to gain attention before I give them further cues, especially at an early age where they might need to be seeing hand signals and things. Okay, so get the attention and then I'm going to ask you for the sit or the down. Okay, hopefully that has all made sense. So get conditioning your kissy noise this week. Try and get ahead of your puppy's actions and have some fun with that food circuit game. For tomorrow, we are going to need a small cardboard box if you're training alongside me. Okay, so maybe a shoe box if you've got a medium-sized breed, or a little smaller box if you've got a smaller breed. So any kind of cardboard box. Okay, and hopefully I'm going to see you tomorrow for another session. I'm just going to have a little look at who's online with us. Hi there, Maggie and Sarah. Good to see you all. Excellent. Okay, you're going to have some questions, okay, and I'm not going to probably be able to see all these on the screen at the time, so I'm just trying to look at my screen at the same time rather than the camera, so excuse me. Could you use your dog's name instead of the sound? Of course you can use your dog's name instead of the sound. Your problem is, if you're walking down the street and someone stops you, said, that's a lovely dog, what are you going to say? What when they say, what's his name? Okay, so his name's Bruno. And as soon as they say, what's his name, you're going to say Bruno. You've got to remember to feed your dog each time. Okay, so I must admit, I have tried for years to get my clients to use their dog's names correctly. If you've got the kissy noise, particularly if you've got a family with kids that are going to use the dog's name all over the place, that's going to ruin your conditioning, because then you're going to change the meaning of it. Okay, if I made Ace equal a £50 note to you, and then all of a sudden I started giving you nothing, where would your emotion be when you hear that word? Okay, so it's going to change the emotion, it's going to become inconsistent, you're not using it in the right pattern. Okay, so I would say use your dog's name exactly how you want to. Your kissy noise is the one that you're going to keep conditioned. Okay, so think carefully about the sound that you choose, you've got to be happy with it. Okay, let's have a look, I'm just going to have a look at some other questions. What's the best if our puppy isn't listening? Okay, now your puppy might not be listening because it doesn't really understand what you're talking about yet. So obviously, hopefully this week, you're going to give them some training and they're going to begin to understand a little bit more. But you are forming an association. Okay, like I said, the ice cream van always means the ice cream van, that sound of the ice cream van. Okay, so you're going to put some meaning to this. You're going to make the kissy noise. And you've got to get the food to the dog to start with, because the kissy noise has no meaning to start with. Okay, you're forming the association. So the puppy's got to want what you have. Okay, so they've got to be wanting that piece of chicken at the time to form that positive association. Okay, I think I've overrun, but I know there's going to be more questions on there. It's just tricky to answer the questions and be giving you the information. We're going to store all of these questions, and remember, we've got a question and answer session on Friday. I will be picking out all your questions during the week, and we're going to go over those, and obviously you can ask questions live. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye bye.